Hey guys, we made some black and white farmhouse Christmas decor. Trust me, I stayed black and white. It is farmhouse, which means buffalo check. That's what that means. It means buffalo check attacked everything. Couldn't help it. It's in my soul. I'm Whitney with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots, and thank you guys for joining me today. So we're going to get started into our first one here. This is a Michaels sign that I got on a crazy good clearance. It was normally $14.99. I believe I got there when it was like 70 or 75% off. So I paid like a little bit over $4 for that sign. Not bad at all, if I might say so myself. And we're going to put some snowflakes on this girl. So I've got these 4 snowflakes from Dollar Tree last year. They're just styrofoam ornaments, and we are going to deconstruct them and paint them. And so first what I want to do is I'm going to take the hanger off of this and take the labels off, get this sign ready to be painted. We're going to use that white Waverly chalk paint that you see me showing you guys a little bit right there. And yeah, you're going to paint. This video is full of paint. Trust me, guys, this was a lot of painting. So in order to be black and white, we have to use black and white paint. So if you want to save a nicer sign like this, save it for stain. I think I had a different idea for fall, but fall got away from me. So we're just going to cover this in white chalk paint, and we're going to put some snowflakes on it, and we're going to walk away, and we're going to think of pumpkins for next year. Okay? Technically, in my house, pumpkins will always be out. So it's always the thought in my mind, but I am already planning next year's pumpkins, just so you know. Let that dry, and then I thought I wouldn't do the back, but then I got some on the back, so I said, you know, I was like, let me just do you see how I skipped that right there? I was like, I'm just gonna do the edge. Yeah, that didn't work out. We just painted the whole thing. So now my great idea was to take this little tiny paintbrush and grab a little bit of black chalk paint and just do the insides of this. Now, you guys are seeing a cut part of the neatest part of me doing this and sticking my head into it. It didn't go that well. See there, I've already messed it up. There was a lot of correcting that I didn't actually need to do because you're going to see in a moment. I end up dry brushing black all over it, so the sloppy part I could have left sloppy. That's the beauty of farmhouse or distressing. You can make something look so weathered and old that no one can see how you messed it up. So while that's drying, and before I did the distressing, you'll see that in a second, I was just letting those 2 coats dry, the white and the black. We're going to take these Dollar Tree ornaments apart. Now, I had planned something last year and I didn't get to it, so I have one that was already taken apart, but I'm going to show you. These things peel apart pretty quickly. Now, I have to tell you guys, I have not been to Dollar Tree for Christmas yet this year, so I do not know if these are in the stores, but they had a lot of them, so if you have them in your stash or if you have something comparable, grab some snowflakes and paint them black. Now, these were styrofoam, and they had a very, very fine shimmery glitter on them that I didn't even notice bothered me until later when I came back into my room, in my craft room, when I was letting, different coats dry. Again, guys, why did I choose to paint everything? I was like, this is going to work out, and then the idea in my head was beautiful until I had to execute all this painting. There's a lot of painting, so if you have no painting patience, say that 4 times, painting patience, painting patience. I had none. Especially the couple days. This was over the course of a couple days I painted all this stuff. Got it all over my fingers. Then I broke a fingernail. Had to go get it fixed. Moving on. We won't talk about that. Here's our dry sign. And you see the 4 snowflakes above that. Those are dry as well. I only painted one side of the snowflake because we're going to glue them down to the sign. So you're not going to see the backs of them. So just make sure you get all the little nooks and crannies because there were a lot of them in those snowflakes. Now you're going to see me dry brush. So I grabbed a very wide chip brush. I got this from Amazon. And, oh, sorry, no, I didn't. I got that at my hardware store. It came in a pack of 3, but this is a very wide chip brush, and I figured this is going to be the best. Now, I loaded very little paint on there, and you see me dabbing it off and then test it to the side. I went super light in the beginning. Super, super light because I didn't know how heavy-handed I was going to get. You guys know me, I have a tendency to go so heavy-handed on the distressing that it just looks like somebody fell on it with a wet paintbrush. And that's eventually what happens. It's nothing if not a guarantee that I'm going to take something and just take my brush and go in all different kinds of directions, and you're going to see it. I wanted it to look like it had a hard life. Maybe it sat somewhere for a while, and we had a couple, oh, excuse my doggy. Tootsie's down here coughing underneath my chair while I'm doing voice recording. Isn't that great? That was wonderful. Not embarrassing at all. Kids, huh? So we're going to take some ribbon. Done with distressing, moving on. Take the ribbon. I got this at Michael's last year. This is a 2.5-inch wide buffalo check ribbon. It was fairly cheap, and it is not a very good ribbon, so I'm grabbing 2 pieces. I just measured as what I thought would be right. I took the wires out of both sides. You saw me pull them out there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop them together to create sort of like a little... This is not a knot. It's not a knot. Not a knot. Not to knot. Not. It is not a knot. You guys, are you following me? Because even I'm confusing myself now. It's just kind of like, I wanted it to look like the ribbon was holding hands. Isn't that sweet? No, I'm just making that up. Honestly, I just had this idea and this is how it came to pass. So just watch my madness take life. I folded over the edges of the two sides of the ribbon and I'm measuring them at least 1.5 inches. I think that's 2 inches total from each side, just so I know that they're in the right spot. Then I had the great idea to use my staple gun. And as you can see here, the staples went through the front. Now, again, this won't matter because our snowflakes are going to cover up all those oopsies. But I did use one of the cutest little tiny mini hammers to, hammer those little things down. But moving on, we will glue our little black styrofoam snowflakes down. And I tried to make them so that I had them the direction I wanted them. If you notice, they're all facing the same way. I put one of the, a couple of, I guess you call them arms. I don't know, the little arms. So if you look at the bottom, I was lining the bottoms of them up so that they're all facing the same way. If you want yours to be just a little hodgepodge, a little bit of chaotic beautifulness, then you do as you please and you put them on how you want. I just line mine up to be perfect. Even though, as you can see now, they are not perfectly spaced at all. Anyhow, so I felt that they were a little plain and the styrofoam was kind of showing through. You can still see some of the shimmer on it even after it's painted. You'll see that in the close-up when I'm done. So I liked it, but I decided to put these just one side back on each, obviously, because we glued down the other. So I have another 4 of these that I can put. So I'm going to show this to you a little close-up. It was very easy. Now, it is full of holes, so some of the glue will come through. So please be careful and don't burn your paws, because I did that many times. We all know I will eventually. I mean, I have no fingerprints at this point, so it is what it is. I just showing you here that I put these down in order to manipulate them. They're very easy to move left or right to get them centered because they weren't exactly centering the way I wanted them to. But just to make things look a little bit nicer, look a little bit more high-end, this is how I glued them all down. And I did the middle, and then I did each branch after that. I still felt that it needed something else, and thank you for Zoe to bark at me and tell me it's time for dinner. She's going to have to wait for just a moment. I got this, we're going to add some bows. So this is a 1.5 inch faux burlap ribbon I got at craftoutlet.com many, many years ago. And I used to write the prices of the rolls on my stuff back in the day, which I don't anymore. I took another piece of that Michael's buffalo check ribbon and I cut it in half, and then I just cut the wire off the outsides because we're going to make a couple of loop bows, and I'm just going to use that buffalo check to tie it in the middle. So I just cut 2 pieces that I thought would work well. I tacked them in the middle after making an awareness ribbon sign or a shape. Pinch them in the middle, and then I tacked them together with a little bit of glue just to hold them while I'm taking this extra ribbon piece here and using it as the tie in the middle. Now, it shed a lot. It started to fray, but we're only using it as an accent piece in the middle of the bow. The bows by any means are not meant to be the main event, so they're just an accent. So if you had something else, if you guys get different ideas, let me know. Tell me how you like this, because at this point, after I dovetail the ends here, I love the way it's a very jet black burlap. It's a faux burlap. It says faux, so it's not really burlap. I really honestly couldn't. I don't care what it is. It's pretty. But I really like the jet black burlap and the dovetail on the ends of those ribbons. It seems just so cute and perfect, and it just makes me happy. I get that warm, squishy feeling like I want to squeeze it. That cuteness aggression comes out. You guys tell me what you think. So you can see here the dry brushing and a little bit, a lot of that stuff didn't come up. You can't tell anywhere where I put the staples came through the front because it's all covered up and it's all solid. And it's not heavy by any means because we only added styrofoam to the front. The sign itself is perfectly secure with the glue and the staples on the back. And I love the way it looks. And of course, I got you guys, I put buffalo check in every single one of these. So you cannot fight me on that Farmhouse. I dare you, fight me. Fight me on Farmhouse, you guys. I've had some people say, Farmhouse is too much. I'm like, this is a Farmhouse channel. Please come here if you love Farmhouse. If you don't, I will miss you until you decide to come to the right side. But I got buffalo check in there, so it made me happy. It's also, you could go a little bit, country modern? I don't know, you guys. I'm not a designer. I just do what makes me happy. So, and then see how the ribbon looks together when it looks like it's holding its own hands? It's not a knot. That's not a knot. But you guys tell me what you think in the comments below. I like how this girl turned out. It was fun. It was different, but it was fun. Because remember, I had this sign slated for pumpkins, but then again, I have everything slated for pumpkins. And here, moving on. Now, our second DIY here, this hurt my heart to pull this pumpkin off of here, but I did only recently get this with my last trip to the Dollar Tree. They had, and it was already black, and it already had buffalo check on it. So I took the pumpkin out, and you know I saved it for my next pumpkin event, which will happen shortly probably. But I did feel like it wasn't black enough, so I gave it a fresh coat of paint. So yes, it was nice it was already black, so I didn't have to worry about putting 1, 2, 3, or 4 coats. Plus, this also is a wooden sign. It wasn't plastic. So I've been starting to look for these things in Dollar Tree. I'm looking for wood, not plastic, items that I can take apart instead of having to do the measuring. But in any event, we're going to make a Christmas guy out of this. So I have these bell ornament cutouts from Dollar Tree that I got probably 2 years ago, maybe. I'm not sure. I've had them for a while. And we are going to paint. I wanted to go with silver bells, but I didn't have silver, so I just picked some acrylic paint that I have called Silver Gray, thinking like, oh, the word silver's in it. It's not silver, guys. It's just a gray color. It's just a gray color. But I wanted to go with the silver bell theme. You know, that's a very, very Christmas, very, very holiday, very, very cute. She's so cute. So I painted the whole thing, painted the edges, got most of it done. Now we're going to do the same thing that they had originally on the sign, and we're going to raise it up, but I want to color it and I want to paint it. So with the leftover gray on my paintbrush, I kind of just distressed around the edges of our black sign that, you know, obviously the paint had dried while I painted the gray, the silver bell gray. And now I'm going to say that, okay, I'm grabbing my white Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to very, very, very heavily distress the top of this. I think the gray kind of makes it look silver, but without having any silver, this is the idea that I had. And then of course I'm going to distress over the top of the gray distressing on the black and just add a little bit on the insides so all of it matches. It's all very farmhouse. It's all very rustic. It's all very makes Whitney happy. Dry her up a little bit. And we're going to grab some pieces that had taken off of other signs. So these are this first one I'm going to show you here in a second. Come on, Whitney, you can do it. I was actually removing glue off of it is what I was doing. Now, I have 2 pieces of little blocks here because I'm putting one above and below that little opening. Now, this one is from a different Dollar Tree sign, and this bottom one is actually the top part of a Jenga block or a tumbling tower block from Dollar Tree. I save everything, guys. So I'm going to use these as my supports on the back of these items. So just like the pumpkin that we pulled off of the sign originally, we are going to do the same thing with this bell. So this particular piece that I'm putting on now, this one, came off of another Dollar Tree sign, and I'm going to add a second one just to support the bottom of the bell. So it has 2 supports in it. And we're going to pop that on the back. They are both the same thickness. So the tumbling tower block and the original piece, it just worked out to my favor. Now, when I tore some of the back sheet there, oh, and there's a little bit of pieces splintering, so I was trying to fix it. I thought I cut that out, but in any event, you guys can see the behind the scenes. This whole thing is a behind the scenes. I fixed the paper, and with the bell covers it perfectly, so you can't see that I ripped it, but there is a little splotch of black paint right there, which I'm going to point out right into your faces. Like, look right there, guys. I messed it up. So out comes my junk bucket and all my other little accoutrements. And we're going to tie a cute little finger bow out of this grosgrain ribbon. Now, I have a finger bow tutorial that I recorded separately that goes into great detail. As you can see here, I had to pull that one out because I'm nothing if not a guarantee that I will probably have to retie most of these 1 or 2 times. Sometimes I can get one out in the first try, but if you get rusty or if you're just not really good at it, it takes time, it takes practice, but it does happen, and I couldn't be happier. So I'm very happy to say I have a finger bow tutorial that you can watch separately. It links in the description. And I'm going to be doing a couple more finger bows in this video too. So this grosgrain ribbon looked super pretty, also a very pretty jet black, but you'll see what I did to it in a minute. And all these little extra things you see me placing on here are just pieces that I put in my junk bucket. They're extras that have fallen off of other projects or other pieces of picks and stems and different items that have been leftovers from other projects. I put them in a junk bucket and I do not throw them away. And you guys know my junk bucket makes his appearance many, many times. She is a very, very, very well used, very, very regular guest on this show. Now these berries had like some little bumps on it, so I used my hand sander, just a little finger sander on it too, to get them smooth, and then I had to repaint it because it was showing. And then I thought, why don't I just go a little crazy? So I went a little ham with the paint, and I just painted everything. So that grosgrain ribbon now, it looks like it's got a little bit of dusting of snow. You know, guys, I'm going to ask for some leeway here. I live in the desert. I'm not very familiar with snow, but if that doesn't look like snow to you, then I'm sorry, but to me it looks like snow. So I kind of dusted everything with a little bit more white paint, made it look a little dusty, a little cold and frosty, and I loved it. So this was just a way to refresh a sign that we were going to use for fall. Didn't get to it, but I saved that pumpkin. You know I did. You guys are going to see that pumpkin. Just wait. Just wait. Sometime you're going to see that pumpkin. It will appear. Probably when it's not supposed to, but in my world, it's always supposed to be there. But you guys tell me what you think. Instead of trying to correct that little splotch of black paint, I just left it there. It's sometimes the little small imperfections are the things that make you the happiest. I love stuff that has mistakes on it. Makes me happy. But anyways, tell me what you guys think. So here's our second little picture, or our third DIY for the video. I've had this Noel sign for many years. I got this so long ago that I honestly couldn't tell you guys. I mean, I've had this thing has been with me. I've put it in so many different of my wreaths and projects over the years. This thing has been in my home decor for years, but this year I decided to make a sign out of her, and I love it. But you can find these wooden signs and these words anywhere. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them at Hobby Lobby. You just find a word sign that makes you happy, and then also find a complementing picture frame or stand-up picture frame from Dollar Tree that it fits in, and you can apply the same techniques and the same premise to that. So going forward, we're just going to say that this is it. So I painted this Noel black. I gave it as many coats as it took. I think it was only like maybe 1.5, just little spots here. And then here, this was part of the nautical theme items that came out this year at Dollar Tree. Now, there was a lot of stuff, but I live in the desert, and nautical stuff just doesn't, there's no water here, guys. Nautical stuff don't make no sense to me. I am a beautiful, delicate desert flower. I do not understand water. But when Dollar Tree puts that stuff out and then nobody buys it and it goes on clearance, I will buy those pictures. And also this gray frame, I didn't want to do anything to it. So this worked out also in my favor that it stayed within the black and white theme. I think gray is a good little, I would say it grays the lines because it's gray. You can get black, white, and gray. You can get away with a lot of different things with black and white themed items. So I just took this music sheet scrapbook paper from Hobby Lobby and I cut it down to the measurements to fit inside. Now, this is one of the signs that I said I wasn't going to get. This is before I started actually paying attention to some of the things I was buying from Dollar Tree. It's one of the ones that you can't take apart, and I dislike those. I like the ones that have like the little tabs on the back that you can take things out. So I had to make my little measurements, and my measurements are off on the bottom left, so that's why I chose to. We're going to put all of our flowers and our bow down the bottom left to kind of hide that. Now I'm going to show you the full progression of how this cute little Noel word turned into just being dry brushed, being distressed, and then being more distressed, more dry brushing, and then eventually I just went so heavy-handed on the top of it that I was like, oh, that looks like snow. So you'll see here, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I put it away. Let's get a bit on it. I'm like, well, it really doesn't show that well. Okay, hold on, Whitney, you're not done. Let's just go a little bit more. And I did just went completely crazy. I put a little bit too much on the bottom right, wiped it off there, put a little bit more, wipe it off. Nope, we'll just do the top. Nope, on the sides. This is my whole thought process. You guys don't want to know the chaos that was happening inside there, but then you still couldn't see it. So here I'm like, all right, cool, I'm just going for it. And I just took that chip brush and I just globbed it on the top, and I was like, hold on. It kind of looks like the snow is melting, or it like froze on the top. Again, you guys, the thought process inside my head, it was a side. Look how cute that is, though. Look how pretty. It turned out great. Don't look at the back. It's green. We're going to glue that down. Don't worry about it. No, we're not going to glue it yet. Hold on. Don't do that yet, Whitney. Because we need to find placement. Move things around. Find the placement. This is where I'm just taking a couple of these picks here from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to rip them apart. Now, magnolia leaves are like my favorite thing to throw in with Christmas decor. So I get a little bit of evergreen. I get a little bit of magnolia leaf. I'll throw some springtime stuff in there. You're going to see me do that out of the junk bucket at the end of this. I love to mix greenery for whatever the season is, because there's just so many different things in so many different parts of the world and the countries that just, do what makes you happy. I like mixing everything. There's so many different types of trees and greenery, so we're just going to use the magnolia leaves as a base, and I'm going to throw those in the side. So now I've already covered up my oopsie, so now you cannot see that music note paper does not cover, it's actually music sheet paper, does not cover the bottom left, because we are just globbing all of this beautiful, beautiful Christmassy mess in the corner. And so these are literally, I got a variegated bush pick from Hobby Lobby. That's the best way to do it. If you're not able and you don't feel comfortable mixing things on your own, then buy them when they're already mixed. The work's already done for you because somebody's already designed a pick that has that done. I will buy those. I'll buy solids, and then I just rip everything apart and kind of make it into its own little, gobbly stew of beautiful goodness for the season. And there's the buffalo check. Couldn't say no. So again, I'm just going to pull out enough ribbon to make a couple loop bow. It's just a solid little bow there. And that's a craft ribbon I got at Hobby Lobby, I think last year. I believe I got it during fall. Maybe it's probably a Thanksgiving in the craft section. I didn't actually get it in the ribbon section. So now then I also got some of this satin ribbon out of my stash. This is stuff that I've always gotten it at Michael's. You can probably get it anywhere. It's a very common ribbon, you can see there. It's a very thin, I think it's 1/16 inch satin ribbon, and I'm using that to tie the middle of this bow. And so after we kind of fluff it around a little bit, it's just a regular it's just a very it is a regular single loop bow. It's just classic. But after I glued down a couple more things, I felt that it needed more. So what I did was I wrapped the ribbon, this satin ribbon, around 3 fingers, and I created a bundle. I did it about 6 times, and then I tied that in the middle, and then put a couple knots in it, and then I pulled one of the loops out by accident. So I was just trying to make it even on both sides, so it looks like it has 4 tails on it. And that was pure accident. Normally it wouldn't have any tails, because after you cinch the middle and you tie it together in the middle, I would cut those off. But I like the way it looked. And we're going to trim those tails, but let's put these berries in real quick because I needed them to have their last placement in their home. While the glue is drying there on that, I'm going to cut our tails a little bit shorter. And then I think I'm done, but no, let's add some pine cones, because there are just a few little holes in there that I just didn't want too much of the behind the scenes. I mean, we don't want to see the mechanics and all this kinds of stuff. We want to hide it. We want to make it pretty. Still cute. And then here I'm looking for one more piece of greenery that doesn't match. And here I found one. This is from a spring bush, guys. This is from one of the spring bushes I got, probably, I think it's a Dollar Tree one. I could tell you that's not from a Dollar Tree pick, but you'll see in a second when I show you. You see that little sprig of the green right there at the bottom? That's from a spring bush that I just had that one piece in my junk bucket. And I love how it turns out. It's darker at the bottom, lighter at the top. But, transitioning into Christmas and winter in a lot of places, everything doesn't just immediately die off. And some things stay green year round. Some things die off and literally go to sticks. And if you're a plant person, between the difference between evergreen and deciduous, and I sound like a plant nerd, but I'm fine with that because I wanted to make sure in my yard, because I have to purchase my trees. Yes, guys, I purchase trees for my yard in the desert. When you landscape, you have to buy your greenery and then spend lots of money watering it. I knew the difference between deciduous and evergreen because I wanted to make sure that they stayed green year round. So I'm weird like that. But now that lesson is over, let's skip everything and move to the last DIY of the day. We're going to use this cute little washboard that I got from Target through the Target dollar spot earlier this year. It's a $3 washboard. You've seen me use a couple. I think I bought 4 or 6 of them. I think I bought 4 of them. 2 white and 2 brown. But anyways, so we're going to make a cute little planter. Now, this planter itself is not necessarily Christmas, but you will see how I applied Christmas to it. And she will be in my decor going forward. So we have a little washboard. We've got one of the very well-known crates from Dollar Tree. And then this is a square dowel that I got off of Amazon. You can take a look at my Amazon shop. There's a link below. And also this in the Amazon shop here, I've got some wood glue. I've got wood hot glue. And the brand is actually escaping me, but it is linked in my Amazon shop for you to see. So I was using this to see that I make sure I don't have to use the hard, the regular wood glue that takes a while to cure, mix it with hot glue. So I'm just using the wood hot glue here. And this stuff holds up. It's no joke. It holds up pretty good. This is the only thing I've used it on so far. So we will still, the jury's still out, guys. I will use it more on more projects. First off, don't glob on so much like I did just here. I've got to wipe it back off and then just put a little bit on. But anyways, these are square dowels. I cut them to the right size to be legs on the front. So it looks like it's a cute little washboard. It's a little container there with a washboard back on it. It's super cute. But because we're going to attach it wood to aluminum there, we're going to actually use Starbond glue. It is a nice CA glue, a super glue, and we're going to use the accelerator, and we're going to put those together. And the accelerator, it's fast, it's 1 second. And guys, don't use it on something that you want to take apart because it won't come apart. Trust me, it won't. That stuff is no joke, and I love Starbond for that exact reason. It's immediate, and the hold is crazy good. So, after we do that, we're going to paint everything that it was natural wood white, so it kind of matches the back. And this is that white Waverly chalk paint. It's a very crisp white, and it didn't, I didn't have any problems with it not meshing well with the white on the cutting board, on the washboard there. So after that dries, now PSA, that paint's not dry because I have no patience. I just moved on to sanding off the whole little laundry room thing at the top there because I wanted to put something really, really cute here, but I needed to get that off. So I just used my finger sander and I sanded off the little paint there, and then I got something on there, so I'm using my baby wipe and I'm cleaning it off. And look at this perfect little, this Farmhouse rub-on transfer from Dollar Tree fits perfectly in there. Look at that. I love it. That's what I'm saying. This base is interchangeable, and I will be using it throughout the year for all of the holidays. You guys will see me transition this along with other pieces I've made in the past for the holidays, because we're still going to put a Christmas themed or winter themed arrangement in here. But the Farmhouse thing is going to, it's universal. It's Farmhouse Christmas, Farmhouse Thanksgiving, fall, Farmhouse Easter, Farmhouse, no matter what it is, you always put the word Farmhouse with everything. So make your boxes or your pieces, you know, interchangeable. So at this point, there's our Farmhouse little box, but we're going to use this Dollar Tree styrofoam here. Make it a little bit lower than the actual box, but then also don't forget, I forgot until now, I got this piece of scrapbook paper out of my stash. I needed to cover up the sides because I don't want to see styrofoam from the side. It's a tiny little piece, but it's all these little tiny picky things here and there that kind of make the piece look that much more finished. It's the little tiny details that maybe someone wouldn't notice, but if you notice them, then you take care of them as you see fit. That would have bothered me personally. I know other people probably also, don't forget to take your label off, which I did right there. Other people might not care, but if you care, then you go ahead and do what you do, you boo. It's all good. Didn't need to glue down the styrofoam because it fit really well. I'm also not gluing down the Spanish moss I'm using here. And I'm also not gluing in these mistletoe. I believe that's mistletoe. Yeah, because holly berries are red. So this is mistletoe. I got this at Dollar Tree last year. Cut them all apart. Now I'm going to use, this is, I believe, is a faux sage, a little faux sage pick from Hobby Lobby that I've had in my stash. And I have a cute little star ornament pick that I got at Michael's years ago. So I'm just taking this, and this is going to be very neutral, as you'll see here. And I slow it down. Now that's just with sage in it. Isn't it cute? Just the sage. So now let's add some of the mistletoe to it. On these little mistletoe things, I got them at Dollar Tree. So see there, just a few pieces there. You can stop if you want. Put something else in there, an ornament, maybe a Santa's boot or a snowman hat, anything like that. Stick some ornaments in there upside down. Put some more berries in it. Put a little bit more mistletoe. Now, this thing is so old that when I went to take the tag off of it, the whole thing came out. So I ended up having to shove it in the side. Now, this thing's made out of styrofoam, so luckily enough, I could put it back in the side of the star. And from here, I just kind of tucked it in. Now, again, there's no glue in any of this, so all this can come out and we can move this on to the next holiday, the next holiday, the next holiday, and you guys will see that because I love it. It makes me so happy. It makes me so happy to put these things together, but look how simple it is. Got a little bit of sage, so you got a little bit of light green with all the holly. It's not holly, Whitney. All of the mistletoe, and then that white star. It has no glitter on it, which also makes me happy. And those little glassy plastic glass balls right there, they don't come off. It's one of the few things that doesn't shed. But again, I've had that in my stash for so many years. I got it at Michael's so long ago. But look how cute. You got a cute little farmhouse container. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I thought I was done, which is why I was showing the camera. Look, I'm done. No. I did promise you at the beginning, Buffalo Check made its way into every single project. And I don't know why I thought I was done also. I was just getting excited. So we're adding a Buffalo Check ribbon to this because once again, no matter what you say Farmhouse goes with Buffalo Check. And Buffalo Check is my heart. I do not know that I will ever be tired of it. It's one of those things where I just love it. So now again, we put just a stripe around the front. You saw me tuck that in on the sides. I'm making another double loop finger bow for the front because this is also going to be a permanent fixture on this item. This is something I want to keep on it for me. No matter what I do inside here for whatever holiday, this Buffalo Check ribbon is just part of it. And so I put a little finger bow there. And that's it. I love how it turned out. I'd love it even if it was empty. Isn't it cute? It just... Oh, I'm so happy. In fact, you could leave it empty, paint the inside of it, and put candy in it, or put something in it that, tea. You could put your little bags of tea, or small spoons, stir sticks. You could put anything in this for your kitchen. You could put anything you want to, small things you want to grab off the counter. So it doesn't have to be an arrangement. It could actually be something that you put practical items in that you would use every day. But I think this little farmhouse thing here, this, in order to incorporate Christmas into it, I think we did a good job. We can put this and leave this out even after Christmas, but again, throw some bells in there, anything that you're using for your theme, and I think that it would go just perfect with everything else. Now again, if you're a black and white and you're keeping everything black and white, this is our lot for this year. So this is my black and white video for Christmas 2022. You guys really liked what I did for fall, and thank you guys so much for all the support that you gave me on that black and white video. That one was doing very, very well. So I did a black and white Christmas for all you guys with that black and white theme is in your heart and in your soul. This is what we did. Now, again, you can add a little touch of red to this and it's still within the same thing. You could put a couple sprigs of red berries maybe above the bell, or anything like that. But if you're a true black and white only for certain specific things, I think this literally it's not washed out. I really love it. You guys tell me what you think. I think everything turned out really, really well. And other than the amount of painting that I did, again, that first sign, did not know what I was getting myself into with all that painting because it took a while. And again, I had to wear some gloves and we messed some things up, but I got through it. So tell me guys what you think in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about these black and white items for Christmas. And then also, are you planning on doing a specific color or theme? I know there were some people doing some pink things. I might have a video with pink Christmas or different solid colors. Do you have a specific color or theme that you guys are doing in your houses? Share that below. I know we've only just got to November, but pumpkins are still going strong in my house, and they even into Christmas you see me with Christmas pumpkins. But you guys let me know what you guys are doing. I know peppermint's very popular, gingerbread's popular. But I'm excited to see and hear what you guys have going on. And if you ever want to send me pictures, please do that through Instagram. I love chatting with you guys and seeing the things that you guys make. You guys make me so happy with, telling me about the inspiration that I give you. Oh, and I have, again, duping through the holidays. Now, they just started today, as of I'm recording this video, but throughout the whole month, my video comes out on the 18th. We will be duping different stores on each Friday, and then there's giveaways for every video. So take a look at those videos. It's a great bunch of creators, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Now, also, I have a coffee page. I want to thank everybody who has donated to my coffee. You're keeping me going. It's been wonderful, and hearing the support and the fact that you guys know and trust me enough to help support my channel, it means the world to me. So with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching and joining me and spending time with me. I love all you guys more than I could possibly say in words. So many, many hugs, happy crafting, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye for now.